Hello, everyone, and welcome to Figure Study, where we appreciate the form in Transformers. And today, taking a look at another Robots in Disguise figure. This time, we're looking at Drift. Drift is a figure that I'm kind of like back and forth over. He's it's like okay. His vehicle mode, shape-wise, not bad. Amount of color-wise, could be better. Overall, I think better than Jazz, but you know, it's not terrible. I'm not too keen on the fact that his doors are this like it's like he's got these giant black doors, which just seem incredibly out of place and just badly done. Like it's just giant black panels, and I'm not terribly familiar with the cartoon, so this may be accurate. It may not. I don't know. I don't care. I don't like it on this figure. It's just the orange and black is fine. It's a little Halloweeny, but it's fine. But it's just giant black doors just seem completely out of place. Like if this part, like if the actual door part were black, and if the trim along the bottom were orange, then I think it would look a little bit better. Or if it was like orange door and a little black trim on the bottom, that would also look okay. But just this giant block of black on the side just seems weird to me. And the front looks all right. Definitely more detail up here than anywhere else. I kind of like how, and we'll see this when he's in robot mode, how this front of his vehicle actually does kind of mimic his face and helmet in robot mode, which is cool. And there's, again, like with most RID figures, there's not a ton of molded detail in vehicle mode, at least. It's because, cartoon, not a whole lot of detail to go off of. There's some there, but, again, not a lot of paint. At least in this case, unlike with, say, Jazz, you've got the front and side windows, and then, yeah, I guess technically the back windows aren't painted, but if those are the back windows, they're so tiny it doesn't really matter, so it's not as glaringly obvious. It does still have obvious visible robot on the bottom, though. But, these figures are designed to be a little bit simpler. It's just kind of how it goes. But this is sort of a running theme with a lot of the RID figures that I have, where it just seems like they could really use more paint overall, at least in vehicle mode. Robot mode is a little bit better, though. I think Drift does. Yeah. Drift in robot mode, a lot better. Let's take a look. Drift's robot mode is definitely, I think, better. He again suffers from similar issues to Jazz, which is just there's not a lot of paint on him. But the use of it and the use of the just different colored plastics, I think, works better for his robot mode than it did for Jazz, because you've got just a much more interesting breakup of the orange and black and a little tiny bit of gray that you can kind of see on the thighs there. I think that works a little bit better. I don't know. It's nicer. Still have the issue with the doors though. Now because he's got these giant black forearms and just seems like there could be a little bit more detail there. There's a little bit more overall detail that you can see molded in when he is in his robot mode. Get these out of the way. The thighs are just kind of not really detailed at all. I do think it's cool that these skirts have little slots to sheath his swords. It's very nice. And yeah, he's got some decent details there. The arms, not really much going on there. His hands look all right though. There's not a lot of detail to, like I've said, there's not a lot of detail to the RID figures, I think, because they're meant to mimic a cartoon. So there's not a ton of molded detail. His face, if it focuses, focus on the face. His face looks all right. It's, I don't know, his face looks good. And this is where you can kind of see how it mimics the front of the car, which if we flip this up real quick, you can kind of see, you've got the blue lights and the red crest, and here you've got the blue eyes and the red crest. I think it looks good. It's a decent, it's a nice looking head. Kind of goes with the samurai theme that they've got going here. I do think it's a shame that he's supposed to have this magnificent goatee and giant ropey mustache, and that is not painted. It's just kind of, can't really get the camera close enough to show it off very well, but you can see it's molded there. It's just not painted, which is a shame. But I will give him credit for painting that little pencil thin detail line of black around the helmet, which is very cool. I think it actually, yeah, it goes all the way around to the back too. So kudos to Hasbro for that, at least. But yeah, all the paint pretty much went into his face, which is okay. But I don't know. The paint again could be better. I keep going back and forth with myself on getting the. They have like a special edition 2-pack of Drift and Jazz in like this really cool paint scheme, and I keep thinking maybe, maybe not. I don't know, because it's expensive and I don't really like Jazz very much. So I don't know. Drift is pretty cool though, I have to say. And this is something that I noticed when I first got the figure that I thought was actually really nifty. They have this section of his car hood kind of folds back to get out of the way and, you know, give the legs clearance. But I think it's really nifty how they actually use it to make a heel for his foot. That is pretty darn clever. And aesthetically, it doesn't look bad either. It just kind of, you know, makes the leg look fairly solid, and you don't really notice this odd gap there. And even if you do, it's not that out of place for a Transformer. So yeah, Drift is not a bad-looking guy. He, again, could use more paint. Virtually all RID characters, or all RID figures that I own, could use more paint. But overall, he's not bad. He pulls off the samurai aesthetic pretty well. He's got a decent, nice distribution of color. Like I said, the orange and black is kind of Halloween-y, but that's my professional opinion on the matter. Just yeah, Drift is pretty cool overall. Not necessarily the coolest RID figure that I've got, but he's not bad, and he is leaps and bounds above Jazz in my opinion. Anyway, that has been my look at the Robots in Disguise Drift. Thank you, everybody, for watching. As per usual, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Any combination of those three would be sweet. And remember, art is more than meets the eye.